Yeah.
Now you were saying, to bounce around topics, you were saying earlier about how you're going to be playing in your Elton John cover band the same night
Oh
as
yeah.
an Armored Saint, which of course we have to ask, or I have to ask.
Well, the Toys are playing the same night as Armored Saint Wasp in San Antonio, and then I front an Elton tribute
Right,
called Captain Fantastic, and they're playing next month. Yeah.
right. And is the Elton the same night as well as Wasp Armored
No,
Saint? No,
it's in
the Toys is
December.
the same. Oh
The
shit.
Toys are playing the same night as Saint and
Balls,
Wasp.
balls.
Yeah.
Now with the Saint though, so I of course have to ask. 2 years ago,
Hmm.
you were cool enough to do some Armored Saint shows, and also with Accept. How
Yeah. So
memories in those times? Was that a bit overwhelming or pretty cool?
yes, yes. Not overwhelming to where it killed me, because I was a kid in a candy store, very happy to help, to be a second stringer or a band-aid, if you will, or whatever, to help out legendary bands. I didn't know anyone really in the Accept camp. I mean, I do now, and they were great and they were so nice and uh, very sweet, and supportive and understanding of me coming in saying, like, hey man, when I go see Accept, I want to see Accept. I don't want to see this guy singing. I want to see. So, haters, what's your prediction of haters, because, you know, and they're like, we got you. Fuck all that, man. Just have a good time with it. And I'm like, oh damn, they're feeling for this. They need this to. All right. And so I had a different light after I was out there, Well, and there's no preparation too. And I can't believe it's already been 2 years ago, but it would have been October 2 years ago. And I'm on the phone on a Tuesday with Wolf Hoffman. Hey, can you do this? Holy shit! It's an honor to talk to you, sir. You know,
No doubt.
someone you grew up kind of worshiping and covering all their songs, and it was crazy weird. But that all went away fairly quickly because we had to get down to business. And can you be here tomorrow? Your plane leaves at 5 a.m. No rehearsal. See you at sound check. Wait, what?
I,
So
Go change
the
your underwear
story
and keep it
the,
moving.
the story is more like,
Yeah.
I got a text from Don Van Staveren from SA Slayer, and who's in Riot, and Todd Michael Hall, the Riot singer, had gotten a call from this guy Ed Aborn, who's in Florida, who's tight with all the Riot guys and the Accept guys. And Wolf had called him, hey Ed, do you know anybody? Let me call Don. Hey Don, no, let me call Todd. Hey Todd, no, but I'm unavailable. Let me call Don. So Don, I get the text. Don goes, hey man, can you still sing Accept? I'm like, get the fuck out of it. Why would you ask me if I could sing Accept? You know that I can sing Accept. You know I worship Accept. He goes, yeah, call this guy right now. You'll see. I'm like, what, are we starting an Accept tribute band? Cause I'm down, And he's like, no, just call this guy and you'll see. So I call Ed, and Ed's like, yeah, here's what's going on. Mark Ternillo is RSV, upper respiratory. It's not, he needs to really take it easy. They've already canceled a couple of shows. Oh my God. I'm going to give your number to Wolf Hoffman. Wolf Hoffman calls me, all of the pleasantries, down to business. He goes, do you have anything you can send, just so I can check it out? As a matter of fact, I have Watchtower doing Run If You Can, and I have IGNITOR doing Fast as a Shark. Let me send them to you right now. He calls me back 10 minutes later because he went and played them for the band. And a couple of them, and he's like, hey, man, my band opened for Broken Teeth in Carolina. Hey, man, I know this guy, and I know that his Toys guitar player. So Philip Schaus and Christopher Williams had already spent a few minutes FaceTime with me in some concoction. So with little to my, unbeknownst to, later realized, right? Totally weird how incestuous and small the world is. And then so he, Wolf calls me back and he's like, "Oh yeah, we got to do this. Can you be on a plane, in a few hours?" And I had to call my bosses at the school and say, "Dude," and they're like, "Dude." I'm like, "Dude, yeah, we got to make this happen." So they did, and I love them for it. And yeah, I was on the road with Accept for a week, and it was an amazing time. To be clear, I only had to do one full headline show, 18 songs, something like that. And I was phonetically familiar. I was singing phonetically. I did have cheat sheets. I had poor man's teleprompter shit going on. Um, I walk into, well, I got there the night before and met some of the guys. I met Uva, and Wolf came by my room, and I just texted everybody and said, "I'm here and I'm safe and I'm practicing."
They probably like that a lot.
The hotel room bed with just lyrics everywhere, and my computer open, and Spotify, and just whatever, and they were extremely supportive, and they called Mark. I said, "Wolf, please break out your phone and dial Mark right now. I need to talk to him, and you guys can be right here. I'm just going to talk to him." Hand me the phone, and I called Wolf's phone. "Mark, it's Jason. We've never met. I just want to say I respect and love you. You're a legend, and I'm in your house, and I'm not going to fuck this up. And I just want you to know that I'm here to support you and not replace you. I
That's
am
pretty cool
here
of you.
out of love and respect to this gig. And by the way, you sound like you're getting better." He says, "Yeah, I am. I'm not 100% by any means, but like I couldn't just sing a gig tonight, but I am feeling better." He had a voice, right? He wasn't like,
Yeah, yeah.
it wasn't anything like that. I was like, "Oh, this is great. This is great." So we go to sound check the next day. We do the whole fucking set for sound check,
Wow,
every song.
that's
And
intense.
I think Wolf like, pulled the plug halfway through about three or four of them, maybe more. But we did at least the intros all the way through the solo for about five of them, and full songs on the other ones. They just wanted to hear it, and get it all
Or
happening.
maybe see if you get gassed at all. Let's see how much gas is in this.
Yeah, yeah, and they were just like,
Yeah,
damn, they
yeah,
were
yeah.
they were happy that I was happy, and that I was holding. And then we did the gig, the whole gig. And true confession, I in my eyes, I fucked up quite a few of those songs. But hey, what do you want? I just got here. This ain't my gig. Let's have a good time,
Yeah, I
right?
know there has to be some slack cut for sure. This isn't just, you're wanking or something and kind of doing it half-assed. You're putting everything you can into it, and it's
That's right.
to be pristine out of the gate.
That's right. So they released a press release that afternoon, uh, telling the truth to Accept fans. And I've never seen my phone blow up like that before. And all of my socials, and all of the socials for press, magazines and websites and blabbermouth and keep going. It was nuts. It was a fire. And all my friends were just like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna kill. This is you were meant to do this. This is you. This is your voice does that already. You're Rob Halford, Mituto, Dirk Snyder. You can do this shit." The outpouring of just people I didn't know, as well as my close peeps. And so that gave me some confidence too about the whole thing. And it was just a great time. And they even were pulling me into the meet and greets. "Hey, this is Jason. He's singing with us tonight." And people were like, "Oh, wow. Yeah, I heard about this on the internet." People had toys shit for me to sign at the
That's awesome.
Accept. It was Watchtower shit, all of it. People in the area. This was in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, is where that gig was. Uh, Fast forward to the next day. So, I'm on the bus. We're rolling in. We get to Jersey or wherever it was, because we did like two New York dates, or two Jersey dates and a New York date, something like that. And The promoter that morning was upset
Hmm.
that Mark wasn't singing and had put out something to the effect of, to the band, personally to the band. If Mark's not there singing tonight, I think I'm going to cancel these dates. And it was almost, it sounds like a threat,
Wow.
but Mark and Wolf talked and they go, well, that ain't gonna happen. We flew Jason out here for a reason. Let me put my pants on and come down there and let's work out a set list. This is ultimately what happened. Let's work out a set list where we can use Jason to the full extent, but bring Mark back in. So Mark comes out and sings a few songs, and it's a tag team. It's a special set list where I come in and do a couple of Udos, and then I sing one with Mark, and then Mark leaves and I do two more, and then he comes out and sings five, and I come out and do, and it was all night. And the grand finale was us like doing balls to the wall together, going into I'm a Rebel, which was just like explosive. And some of that's on YouTube, I think.
Yes, it is.
And yeah, and it was so fun. It was just a big metal party with three guitar players, two singers, and a bass player and a drummer. It was just a metal party. Seven dudes on stage, just like, rocking the fuck out and smiling and laughing and just so great. And so we did three shows with that sort of tag team thing, and then I caught an Uber in Newark, and no, I got Dan Lorenzo, who I made two Cassius King records with during the pandemic years, and those records are great. He gave me a ride. Dan, who's a Jersey man, gave me a ride to the airport, picked me up the uh, last day of my time there at the hotel, and we had breakfast and went. He dropped me off at the airport. Newark Airport was a son of a bitch. I'm just gonna say, but that
Yeah,
was
word
that
is
was
weekend it's utter hell.
yeah. Well, that's the accept thing.
Yeah.
So not long after, 6 weeks later, I'm
You're
seeing
whored out
Armored.
again.
I'm seeing accept. I'm sorry, I'm seeing Armored Saint open for Wasp in San Antonio. And I'm like, all right, yeah, man, my bros. And, I got an after show and I'm in the dressing room and they're like, dude, high five and hugs, because I've known those guys forever. And they're going, tell us about that Accept gig. Wow, that had to be a trip. And I'm telling them all about it as I just told you. Wow, that's awesome. Great. That's awesome to see out there doing that, being a soldier for metal. And I'm like, yeah, man, I guess it was trippy. The whole thing was trippy, but it was an honor. And I have new friends now. It's great. Well, 9 days later, Joey Vera is calling me, and I'm going, dude. He's going, dude. And I'm like, dude? He's like,
Dude.
dude. So, uh, same thing.
Yeah.
As well,
Yeah, John probably got it from Mark.
as well on the Eastern Seaboard.
Man.
Same run of, you're very close to the same stretch. None of the same venue, but which is
Area.
weird, but right down the road,
Yeah.
And this was an opening set, so it wasn't a full. It was like 10 songs instead of 18, right? Which made it easier and more comfortable, almost immediate, and the fact that I'd known those guys so long was a little bit different. And yeah, it was just strange. The a good side of it was that John Bush was actually there living with the band on the road on the bus, with me. So I'm like, so every night Bush would come out with his mic and people were like, yeah, Bush, all right, he must be feeling better. No, who's that redheaded dude following him? And Bush is like, hey, I'm John, and da 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 da. Thank you all for being here. I'm still under the weather, in case you haven't heard. And my buddy Jason's gonna be here and kill it. And everyone, very cordially inviting me to wear John's shoes for a few minutes, right? But
But
okay, imagine you in my shoes and the lead singer of the shoe
Yeah,
that owns the
that's
shoes is
yeah,
watching you do his gig. And dude, John Bush is one of the baddest motherfuckers
oh
out
yeah,
there.
no doubt, no doubt. John's awesome.
Yes, and
John's brilliant. Yeah,
he's
yeah.
watching
Put on a
you
few weeks ago. He's brilliant. Yeah,
he's watching you do his shit, and it's like scary, scary. I think it was in New Jersey at the Wellmont Theater that same thing. Bush comes out and hands me the mic and big bro down hug, and we go, we do the set, we kill it, da 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 da. Uh, Before the show, during the show, and after the show, Frank Bello is there, and he's hanging out and cool, cool, cool. Yeah, good to see you, Frank, and da 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 da. It's like, oh shit, Frank Bello, So uh, I later see a photo of Frank and Bush with me way, way in the background. They're at the soundboard, and someone takes a photo of them, and behind them is Armored Saint with me, and they're watching me sing Bush's stuff from
that's messed up.
sur-
That is so messed up.
surreal, not just very
Yeah,
weird,
no,
but
no.
but getting Frank's comments after the show, like he was like, dude, you killed it, great job, he's very positive guy
Frank's a good dude. Yeah,
anyway.
Frank's awesome.
He's the best dude, and so but I believe him. It's heartfelt. I think if it was a little, I mean, come on,
He's not
he's
going
in
to
New
blow
York.
smoke. He's not going to blow
He's
smoke. Yeah.
No, he's an East Coaster. He's a New Yorker, right? He's not. If it sucked, he was gonna be like, "Hey, man, good, nice try."
Yeah.
I don't know if he would have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He
Yeah,
would.
yeah.
He wouldn't have said. He wouldn't have given me the love and respect that he did if I would have blown it. But the band was happy. John was happy. Frank Bello was happy. So yeah, and that was what was different about that week with Armored Saint is Bush was actually there. Now, the fact that they say lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place, how about 3 fucking times? The phone rings again. I'm in Chicago doing Legions of Metal with Watchtower. Joey Vera's calling me. I'm eating my sandwich at Reggie's there in Chicago. Sound check is done. It's the afternoon. I'm like, why is Joey Vera calling?
Oh
No,
no, no, not again,
dude,
dude.
not again, dude. Can you come out? That was a Saturday. Can you be here Monday? Can you come to Atlanta Monday? And I'm like, here we go again. And John had gone home, and I don't know if it was a worse condition, the same exact I think it might have been kind of the same condition, and upper respiratory shit, and which is terrible for a singer. It can just obviously blow it out.
Totally.
Yeah, and so I got to it. They were supporting Queensrÿche, so 4 shows with Queensrÿche. No Bush. There's no John to bring me out, which I felt a little bit shy about. Oh, just like last time, it's a tribe. It's a
Yeah,
bro
yeah,
down.
but
It's a
still, yeah,
brotherhood. But Bush wasn't there. So, but Joey's got it. So they start the intro. How these went down. They would start the intro, and Joey would come out and grab his mic, and go, "Hey man, Bush is still. In case you haven't heard, but Jason's coming out again to help us out. He's going to kill it. Let's rock," kind of thing. And he did that. He did what Bush was kind of doing. And this time it was over an intro tape, so there was some
right.
suspense. It was like it was starting to, still build, and it was great. And the fans were great. Queensrÿche was great. Todd Latore, at least a couple of times during their set had said, mentioned me coming out to kind of save the day again, and full support. I was beside myself.
Twice in a row like that. That's just awesome. Well, twice with Armored Saint, but just leading with the accept, just having that support and camaraderie. That's what I'm sort of looking for all around.
Camaraderie.
There
Yeah,
we
I think.
there we go. Thank you. Thanks for coming out.
No, all good.
Yeah.
I would have said it even worse probably.
Now I wanted to ask you though, after doing those two shows, if you had a chance to fill in for another band again, an active band that isn't AC/DC or Judas Priest, can you come up with one?
You know me well. Um, well known.
That's still active. They don't have to be well known. It's just an active band that isn't
Yeah.
AC/DC or Judas Priest. That if you all of a sudden the phone rang, it's like, hey, can you do a couple shows for us, or even just tonight? Is there something to be like that? That'd be fun to do.
I can't.
Putting you on the spot.
I can't.
Or maybe
I
something
can't.
from the past. Maybe a non-active band, a band from the day.
Yeah, I can't really think of any. Aerosmith,
Okay.
because I think that would be a lot of fun.
No doubt.
And it would be similar too, because my Aerosmith goes like, I don't know, first 5, 6 albums, and I'm done after, I don't know shit after that.
So
Armageddon soundtrack. I'm
doesn't
not
exist.
there.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I'm not.
not
I'm
your
not
job.
there. Yeah.
So, and I also wanted to ask you, of course, because we're chatting the Talk Louder podcast that you
Yes,
do
sir.
with Metal Dave Glesner.
Yes.
You started that a few years ago. That's turned into a thing. You were a co-hoster of that. Talk about
Yes.
the Talk Louder podcast to people that may not be aware of the Talk Louder podcast.
TalkLouderPodcast.com. It's on all platforms. We like the YouTube because we cut up and make faces and laugh and jest. We have such a good time with our guests on there. And the YouTube, you get to see expression and emotional. I mean, I've cried a few times, so if you want to see me cry, you can. Uh, it's been therapeutic. I mentioned Jared Tootin, as the guy that remixed the Watchtower stuff, and he's my songwriting partner and produces a lot of Broken Teeth stuff for us. He's in Broken Teeth, so I'm not making that clear. But I've known him forever. I did mention he took lessons when he was a kid from Ronnie. Blah, blah, he's a good buddy, right? He calls us during the lockdowns, me and Dave, text message, I think. What do you guys think about? No. When you and Dave, or hey, Dave, when you and Jason are at a party or whatever, and you guys just are sitting there and you're nerding out on, the new Anthrax album or whatever, and like you either clear the fucking room or you attract, moth to flame, right? You're the shit and the flies are coming in, right? Um, that's a podcast. And I'm like, wait, what? I barely know what a podcast is, but that's a podcast. When you guys start your, round table of a topic, and you get 1 and 2 and 3 and 10 and 15 people into your conversation, that's a podcast. That's what a podcast really is. It's a town meeting, it's a fellowship, it's church, it's so many things, and it's a fucking podcast. And we were like, oh, that sounds kind of fun. What else are we going to do? We can't leave the house. It's lockdowns, So we start putting our ducks in a row and, making sure we have the right equipment. And I get a Zoom account, and we start inviting some of our friends to be guests. And here we are 3.4 years later, 3 years later. And here's our list of guests, and because we just did a year-end wrap-up, and here's a list of about 50 names that we did just this year.
That's incredible.
And if I can rattle them off,
please.
Brian Gamboa, he's on the new he was on that Mick Mars album. Dave Pruitt's a local champion of he produces local bands, records them live. He'll go to your show and set up a camera crew, and he has channels and socials that he play. He's a legend around here. Max Norman,
Big deal.
Nigel Glockler of Saxon, Fugitive. That interview was right before, like literally, they were sitting on their hands in that interview because a week later they announced a bunch of Power Trip stuff. So that's a good one. Noisy Mama, that's a band that had videos on MTV. Jacob Bunton, who sings the bulk of the songs on the
McMASTER.
Yeah, and is a major player in the music business.
From Lynham?
Yes, correct. You know Jacob Bunton.
From the books?
He's the man.
Yeah.
Kurt Vanderhoof, legend.
Yeah, Metal Church.
Yeah. Frank Hannon, Tesla. Abaddon from Venom, one of my favorite episodes this year. We did a wrap up of Monsters of Rock cruise. I had just gotten back from the cruise, and Dave and thought we would just do an hour of chat about all the bands I saw, because so many cool bands were on there, and we like to do that kind of stuff. Brian Small from the Hangmen, Mark Zonder, Warlord, and this band Fates Warning.
Yeah.
Max Cavalera, Tuck Smith. I'll start rolling. Phil Dimmel, a go-to man. We talk a lot about the Kerry King record. Damon Johnson, who's currently a member of Leonard Skinner, who has played with Alice Cooper and everybody else, right? Don Jameson, everybody knows Don. Wolf Hoffman, of course, because we were talking about Humanoid, the new record. Mike DeLeon, who plays with Max Cavalera and Soulfly, who lives 15 minutes away. He's from San Marcos, which is like right over there, right? I drive through San Marcos. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Yeah, he's right there. Hi, Mike.
Okay.
And he's great. That guy's great. Where was I? Oh, yeah, John Perez, Solitude Eternus, Texas metal legend. Yeah. John Corabi, of course. The John Corabi. Carl Kennedy from the Rods.
That's pretty true.
Good shit. Bobby Landgraf, who recently took on bass duties for Corrosion of Conformity. He is Rex Brown from Pantera's bass tech. He also played guitar in Down. He has a band called Honky, and he was in my band Godzilla Motor Company. It's technically Bobby's band, but we were both in Godzilla Motor Company. So Bobby's the shit. He also has a new YouTube channel and show called Crew from Hell 2.0. And those are basically the life and times of the Pantera crew. And he just films everything and talks about everything. His limits are he doesn't go in the dressing room. He doesn't talk to the guys in the band. It's Crew from Hell, and it's his show. And he interviews crew from the other bands and stuff like that. And that's starting to snowball. He's got a lot of subscribers and a lot of followers now because he's kind of a badass. You heard me just roll off all the names of people he's in. Yeah, he's a bad anyway. And he's one of us. He's Texans. He's right here. Chuck Billy. Got to talk to Chuck Billy. Talked about those early reissues. Steve Conti, who played with the Dolls, and he's played with everybody. He's a solo artist. Jeremy Asbrock, who plays with Ace Frehley, who has also played with Gene Simmons. Mr. Lifto. Do you know who Mr. Lifto is?
No. Who's that?
Mr. Lifto is the guy that hangs weights from his tits.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
He's from Jim Rose.
Sideshow, yeah.
Jim Rose. And he had a lot of photos to share. And he's met a lot of people. And it was a big deal in the 90s.
Yes, it was.
From touring with Manson and Nine Inch Nails and Zombie and Soundgarden. And here you go, Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
Big deal, Lollapalooza. He was fun. He also he's in Texas too. And Logan Oliveira, who sings, amazing singer, and I've done projects with him as well. He's from San Marcos as well, I believe. He's in a band called Vesperian Sorrow. Have you heard of Vesperian?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Amazing band right here in Central Texas. Amazing. Rick Ventura, Riot.
Cool.
The main guy from Fire Down Under, right?
Yeah.
Bad Marriage, New England hard rock band that has Tommy Schio from Tesla plays in that band too. Johnny Gowdy, who is me and Metal David Glessner, my co-host, We love this guy, and Bobby Landgraf as well. He's a Texas guy. He's right here. Plays in a bunch of bands. His band Gowdy, which is Johnny's last name, were actually on Lars's short-lived label
Okay.
called I think they were called TRC, the record company. I think
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
a silly name, but yeah. And he was one of the only signings, so he's friends with Lars, and we got to hear all about that whole circle of things, the good, the bad, and the ugly,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
Napster and all that. It was fantastic talk, as well as other things. And I've known Johnny forever because he's a local guy. Michael Sweet, Striper,
Hmm.
Ron Keel, Niels Lozauer. You just go look at your record collection, and Niels Lozauer's all over it. If you like Van Halen, you like Niels Lozauer. Mark Ternillo, of course, the god from Accept. Marty Friedman,
That's a good time.
yeah, he was fantastic. Richie Stotts,
Hmm.
Plasmatics,
Not bad.
such a nice guy.
Cool.
So fun to talk to. His stories from
Those are
hell.
incredible. Yeah.
The stories are from hell. Blaze Bailey,
Yeah.
yeah, hung out with Blaze. He is awesome. He was a really good time. Nasty Ronnie, Nasty Savage, made a comeback this year. New record and everything. Sounds amazing. He's so cool. One of my oldest friends. Mark Storace,
Hmm.
Crocus. Yeah, he was fun to talk to. We did a Paul Di'Anno tribute where me and Dave just talk about Paul the whole time. Gotta love it. Billy Dansfield, Billy Chainsaw, who was in Agony Column, who also is an Igniter, has been in Igniter a long time now. Talking, just me and him chatting with Dave, talking about the new record and a lot of the stuff that has to do with horns and hammers more so. Sean Pierce, who was in the Toilet Boys.
Oh, the
Uh,
Toilet Boys. Nice.
yeah, you remember the Toilet Boys?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was the guitar player that had the grinder and the flamethrower, and yeah, and
Crazy.
he drove the van too. His stories are incredible. You can't make it up. It's like he's almost died. I need more than two hands to count
Wow.
how many. Anyway, it was a great interview. If you're squeamish, you don't be afraid.
Okay. Noted.
Try on some Toilet
Noted.
Boys.
Okay.
If you don't know the Toilet Boys and you go look them, you're gonna be
You will.
shocked.
You will. Yeah.
That's the idea. Ronnie Simmons, if you know who Ronnie Simmons is, he's in Rose Tattoo. He
Okay.
was in
Okay. Yeah.
Faster
Yeah.
Pussy. He's in Rose Tattoo currently.
Okay.
He was in Faster Pussycat for quite some time, and he played with Richie Ramone for a long time. And some of all of those guys, his LA connection, played on his solo stuff. He's got solo stuff coming out, and the first stash of tunes is called Bite One. The name of his group is Ronnie Simmons and the Redback Spiders, and it's really great pub rock, really fun, influenced by all of the. Well, by the stuff that he has played, it's influenced by Rose Tattoo, Faster Pussycat, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
Ramones.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Crusher Jewel. Do you know who Crusher
No.
Jewel
No.
is?
Who's that?
The Ozzy Osbourne logo?
Yeah.
He designed
Right.
that.
Right. No.
The Kerrang logo that's all like
Yeah.
fuzzy,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's staticky. He created that. If you look at Diary of a Madman, Ozzy Osbourne logo, it's all staticky, and then you look at the Kerrang logo, this is Crusher Jewel. He did layouts for tour programs for Iron Maiden and Metallica, and it's
That's awesome. Yeah.
called us from England. Guy was amazing. The stories, amazing. We did our year-end wrap-up. Our current episode now is the Ozzy Osbourne Hall of Fame induction. Do's and don'ts, goods and bads, and fun things. And wow, that was weird. And this really crushed. And this was kind of strange. And just we thought it was a good topic. Claudio Bergaman, the artist, he did the new Igniter. He's done the two Cassius King album covers. He did Judas Priest Firepower. He's a light years ahead of me as far as the concepts of art and how it's created without using AI. This was the topic.
There we go.
This was the topic that I was like, I want to talk to Claudio about, specifically not just about Claudio stuff, but about use of AI in art and creation of music and visuals and video and such. He was fantastic. And that one's not quite out yet. Then we interviewed Nick Bocott, Grim Reaper,
Oh,
guitar
right,
player,
right.
Grim
That's
Reaper.
cool. Very
He
cool.
worked
Yeah.
18 years for Marshall Amplification. He was the sales manager. Yeah. And he wrote columns in Guitar Player and Guitar Magazine, was friends with Daryl Abbott, and is still friends with the family. And just, he's got stories upon stories upon stories. And he's doing a reunion, I think, this week with Grim Reaper guys that he hadn't played with in decades,
That's
and they're
incredible.
doing. Yeah, it's fantastic. He's had a great life. And then our first episode of next that concludes our first episode of the new year will be Michael Wilton of Queensrÿche.
Ah, I think I've heard
So
of.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's been a great year, and the podcast just gives you an idea. Those names give you an idea of the ilk of people that we are gloriously happy to talk to and totally geek out on and with. Um, and yeah, 3 years of that. If you go to the website, this is one of our favorite things, and I don't know if a lot of websites do this or not. We post links of all new and past episodes. So you can kind of just scroll around and go, wow, I didn't know they talked to Angry Anderson. I want to watch that, and that's kind of a big deal to us. So
Mhm.
things like that. Yeah. Graham Bonnet, what? I want to hear these guys geek out with Graham Bonnet, you know. So
Graham's awesome.
yeah.
So it'll be a big year then for 2025. Well, I appreciate all your time today and insight. This has been brilliant. So much to recap. We got the Dangerous Toys show this coming up November 30th. So I'm going to make sure this video is out in time to help any
Yes.
additional pimping on that. We don't want to forget about the big Watchtower show in January 18th. That's
Yeah.
a
And then
big deal.
yeah, that's going to be a big deal. And it might be the last Watchtower show for a while. Tickets are available. You can fly down to Austin and see Watchtower. You can,
You
because
can.
you're an adult.
You
You
can.
can.
And who
Yeah,
doesn't
and
want to be in
it's
Texas
on
in
a weekend.
January?
If you come down on a Friday, you leave on a Sunday, you can take in the sights and eat some barbecue in the beautiful Austin, Texas. Um,
Pitch a
in
tent on your
March,
property.
yeah, in March of 25, I shall be joining the reformed SA Slayer
Wow.
to do Hell's Heroes and Keep It True. And those have already been announced and tickets are on sale. So
No,
that's crazy.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I was lucky to befriend original Slayer singer Steve Cooper. We shared the same birthday. We actually had a couple of birthday parties at the Slayer house down in San Antonio a couple of times, and it was super fun. And he passed away, unfortunately, I think going on a decade or more ago. And so a lot of festival promoters have been bringing this idea up. Let's bring this over here and think about it for a minute. And I'd been starting to be asked about it from third parties and not actually my friends who were in SA Slayer, like Ron Jarzambek, who was in SA Slayer, is not asking me at Watchtower rehearsal. So, you think you can hang? That's not. It's not. It's not. We're not really talking about it.
Right.
And so finally, when the legitimate question from a promoter, hey, I want to finally book, let's fucking do this. And, got the call from Dave McLean and Don Van Staveren. Is like, you ready? And we're like, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. So
You're dialed in. You're dialed in. And then with that too, back to the Watchtower, we got the reissues to look forward to at some point in
yes,
2025. OG
yes.
versions along with the expanded fancy editions with, we hope, those artwork ideas that you have come to light. We have your Elton John tribute show happening. That was early December,
December 5th.
December 5th.
December 5th on the same stage that IGNITOR live album Before the Plague was recorded just before the shit hit the fan. Same stage. It's a little place called Kick Butt Coffee. It's got a kung fu guy,
Nice. Yeah.
and it's a cool little. It's kind of a pub. It's
Yeah,
like it's a pub
cool.
vibe, but they got good gear, and this the stage is a little bit small, but so what?
It works.
Everyone plays there. They put on punk shows in there, metal shows, all kinds of stuff. And Dave Pruitt, who Talk Louder interviewed earlier this year, who is an archivist of Texas music, he's filming it and recording it. And maybe there'll be, well, I know there will be some kind of digital, social YouTube release of said show. And my Elton tribute is called Captain Fantastic.
Very good. And you're still
Yeah,
kicking ass with the School of Rock. And we're
that's
going to look
right.
forward to future episodes in 2025 with the Talk Louder podcast. Thanks to my guest today, Jason McMaster. This has been awesome. And we should hopefully do this again. This is Different Stages Radio.